I'm going to clearly explain agentic AI because honestly, most people, including myself, have been using it wrong. Lately, I've noticed there's a lot of confusion and hype around AI agents and large language models. I've misused them myself, literally setting up agents without really understanding how they should work. So today, I want to break this down from the ground up. We will explore what agentic AI actually means, how it differs from using ChatGPT, and how you can start thinking about it like a system, not just a single tool. So let's get into the first part. What is a large language model actually doing? Large language models, also known as LLMs, as you should know, at their core, they are just pattern predictors. So essentially, you give them a prompt and they are going to predict the next word. That prediction becomes part of the new prompt and it continues word by word. And this is why tools like ChatGPT feel like they are just typing because they are building one word at a time. But I mean, here's the catch. They don't just revise. So there's no backspace, there's no drafts too. It's like asking someone to write an essay in just one go, no edits allowed. So let's say you ask, create a product launch plan for a brand new app. Well, LLM, it will do its best, but it's just doing a single pass. There's not going to be a second draft. There's no chance to reflect or recheck anything. That's not how we work as humans. So let's just talk about why that actually matters. So when we create anything, from a presentation to a strategy, we are going to go through different phases. We have the draft, then we have the review, get feedback, revise, and finalize. LLMs skip all that, but what if we didn't ask them to? So, I mean, that really brings us to what I call compound AI, also known as multi-agent chains. So you can improve performance massively just by stringing together these multiple LLM calls, each one with a different role. So here's just a simple structure that I have used before. First, we have the draft agent. This is going to write the first version based on your prompt and data. Second, we have the feedback agent. This will review it and actually offer structured feedback. Third, we have the revision agent, and this is just going to update the draft based on feedback. So, I mean, this setup, it really just mirrors how teams can collaborate. One person writes, another gives feedback, and a third is going to edit it into the final version for you. So another example, instead of a marketing plan, let's say you're handling a customer support reply. We have this draft agent generating a first response. Then we have the feedback agent, which checks for clarity and tone and helpfulness. Then we have the revision agent, and this is going to polish the message to actually align with your brand. So that's already a smarter system than most AI use cases that we have seen today. But before we go any further, let's actually define what we mean by AI agent, because this is being grossly misused. But really quick, I wanted to mention before we continue, if you're looking for a more hands-on approach and learn AI automations with one-on-one support, then check out my community. Link is in the description. We have weekly office hours with me and my team. We provide answers to all of your questions, whether it's about building solutions or getting clients. We also provide all of our templates that you see here on YouTube that you can literally sell for thousands of dollars to businesses. But in any case, let's get back into the video, which leads me into the third part. What are AI agents really? Well, at its core, an AI agent is essentially just an autonomous system that performs tasks based on a goal that you are giving it. It can make decisions, it can take actions, and often interact with tools, APIs, or other agents to actually get the job done. So some agents, they use LLMs, others are just going to use simple automations, simple workflows. So you can think of them like specialized workers in a digital team, each with its own purpose and its own job. One is going to write, one is going to check the work, one sends the email maybe, another one manages the calendar. Some are going to be specialists like the writer powered by an LLM, while others just do simple tasks like checking Google Calendar. So they're autonomous, and that means you don't have to micromanage them, but they still follow instructions based on the goal that you actually give them. Do not be mistaken. Let me show off just a few different examples. First, we have virtual assistants. We have like Siri or Google Assistant. Then we have chatbots that just interact with customers on a website. So it's essentially doing customer support for you. Then we also have automations, like the ones that just fetch your CRM data pretty much daily or however often. And I mean, these agents, they can retrieve data and they can make judgments and call tools or even trigger different workflows entirely depending on how they have been built, really. So with that foundation, let's now look at how to actually think differently about building with agents. Part 4, building smarter systems with agentic thinking. Now that we actually know what agents are, here are just 3 mindset shifts that'll change how you can approach them or how you should be approaching them. So this first shift, LLMs equals autonomous agents. You should not treat the LLM as a single monolithic thing. Instead, you should be treating each task as its own agent. So we first have, a writing agent, a feedback agent, a compliance checking agent. Each one is going to handle a distinct piece of the puzzle that has been built. So this modular setup, it allows for better error handling and revision and control and so much more. This second shift, not all agents need to be LLMs. Some agents, they don't need to think. They really just need to act for you. To better explain this, let me give you an example. So in a project management workflow, let's say one agent just drafts a timeline using an LLM. Another agent is going to check the team availability from Google Calendar. And then we have a third, which is going to run cost projections via an API. So some agents, they write, others retrieve, and some just compute. It really depends. Now let's just bring that to life a little bit. So here's just some more concrete examples. Let's put this in the lens of podcast planning. So let's say we have a topic agent just pulling trending subjects maybe. Then we have a research agent that gathers supporting stats, a script agent drafting the outline, a feedback agent checking for tone and pacing, and then a publishing agent that uploads it to your CMS. So only a few of these actually require actual language models. Many are just automations or just simple logic flows. So I mean, with different agents handling different tasks, how do you actually coordinate all of them together? Well, that's going to lead me into the 5th part, which is going to be orchestrator agents. So we're going to also put this in a lens of an AI project manager. So here's where it's going to get pretty powerful. Let's say instead of manually setting up the flow yourself, or you want to use an orchestrator agent, and this is a meta agent that decides how to run the workflow. So in this particular example, you are going to give it 1, a goal, like let's say writing a complete blog post, 2, a list of available tools and agents, and 3, just a few rules or constraints like the tone or brand, word count maybe. So this orchestrator, it's then going to figure out which agents to use, in what order should I be doing this in, how many drafts or iterations are going to be needed when this process is over. So of course, I'm going to give you another example. Let's put this in a landing page creation. So first off, we have the research agent finds top competitor pages. Second, the drafting agent just writes the headline and the body. Third, the feedback agent evaluates messaging strength. Fourth, the image agent generates relevant visuals. And 5th, we have the orchestrator just checking brand alignment, and it runs a final QA loop. So I mean, it's just like a director working with a team of specialists. It's all AI powered. So now let's just tie all of this together and wrap it all up. Why agentic AI matters right now. So most people, they're still stuck in the old model. So a prompt goes in, a response comes out. But with agentic AI, you're really building, quote unquote systems. So we have reusable workflows. We have autonomous logic chains. We have smarter outputs with just minimal prompting, if you will. This can even be something as small as just asking your LLM to just pause and really reflect between the different steps. And this can boost your accuracy and your flow. Now, imagine structuring that reflection into your process by default. So it's not just smarter, it's actually going to be scalable for you overall. With that being said, that pretty much wraps everything up. So that is agentic AI, really in simple terms. I hope you guys found some sort of value in this video. If you did, please like and subscribe and just drop a comment. And again, I wanted to mention that But if you're looking for a more hands-on approach to learning AI and automations with one-on-one support, then check out my community. Link is in the description down below. We have weekly office hours with me and my team. We provide answers to all your questions, whether it's about building solutions or getting clients. We will also provide all the templates that you can literally sell for thousands of dollars to businesses. But in any case, I really thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.